We were headed to an easy victory. I mean, I had staffers that were measuring the drapes in the governor's office and things like that. Until about 1 month before the election, a bolt of lightning hit this campaign. I got called out of the meeting, and the campaign manager was on the phone saying, "Do you remember Reginald McFadden?" And I said, "I do."
This is Eyewitness News Tonight.
Pennsylvania gubernatorial candidate Mark Singel is doing some explaining tonight.
Singel is calling it the worst decision of his political career.
The Democratic gubernatorial candidate says he should never have voted to commute the life sentence of Reginald McFadden.
Reginald McFadden is now behind bars in New York State under suspicion of kidnapping, rape, and murder. As a chairman of the State Board of Pardons, Singel was among 4 of the panel's 5 members who voted to commute McFadden's sentence.
There was nothing to say. There was no question that it was a horrible crime, that families were ripped apart by it, but it was clear to me that that would be the end of the campaign.
The day I am sworn in, I'm going to call a special session of the legislature. We're going to stay there however long it takes. Prison reform, sentencing reform. And you better believe that when Mark Singel and I contrast our records on crime, you'll see which one of us has been the prosecutor. Personally and politically, I'll match my record on crime against this guy's any day in the week.
Mark Singel, bad judgment, too liberal on crime.
After I was being pummeled on television, we went from 8 points ahead to 7 points behind in 48 hours. 48 hours, a 15-point spread. And I've never seen anything like that in politics. The Board of Pardons is an excruciating responsibility because you literally have to make a determination as to whether or not people who have been convicted of crimes are worthy of a second chance. It really is as profound a service as you can render, and as complicated one. And once in a while, you get it wrong. And once in a while, somebody gets out into the streets that does something truly awful, and that's what happened in my case. As the years go by, you ask yourself, gee, why didn't I just vote no? And in fact, there were several times heading off to the Board of Pardons meetings that one politically astute staffer would say to me, just vote no. Don't take a chance. We don't owe these guys anything. And I had enough of that nonsense one day and almost fired him and said, you don't understand. You take that oath to the Constitution, and that means you do your job, and you don't take the easy way out. This individual had, at least on paper, done everything the right way. And looking back on that, I would do the same thing. I know it sounds strange because I recognize it was the worst mistake of my career, but what about those instances when people really have atoned, recognize the mistake, have remorse, and are ready to do something with their lives? Shouldn't they be given the opportunity? My own background was being raised in the Byzantine Catholic faith with priests and nuns and marching us into church every day, literally to sing the divine literature in Old Slavonic. The priest would offer a prayer, and the response was, in Old Slavonic, Hospodi pomiloi, Lord have mercy. In the course of every single Mass, you ask for the Lord's mercy about 100 times. And lo and behold, when you get older, you can't get rid of that. That's part of your being, and a good part of your being. You don't want to get so jaundiced, and you don't want to get so cold-hearted that there's no place for compassion and mercy. Once we reach that point, then it's a completely different country. Making America great again does not mean to make it mean and to make it selfish. If you really want to make America great, you want to make it compassionate. And when you can, and you are in a position to really be merciful to your fellow man and woman, then do it. Then do it. Because that's what differentiates us from other nations. And that's the direction we should be going.